Today, we're diving into a technology that's jumping straight out of science fiction and onto the front lines. It's something that could fundamentally reshape warfare as we know it. We're talking about the strategic threat of the autonomous drone swarm.
So let's just start with this central kind of crazy question. Could a massive cloud of cheap, intelligent drones actually take down a billion-dollar warship? Now, this isn't just a hypothetical. It's a puzzle military planners are seriously grappling with right now.
What we're really talking about here is a new reality called asymmetric warfare. It's a type of battlefield where the traditional scales of power, money and technology, they're being completely turned upside down.
Okay, let's get into Section 1, a new age of warfare. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about some new gadget. This is a potential paradigm shift in military strategy.
The key concept you really have to grasp here is asymmetric warfare. So instead of a head-on fight, a weaker force uses unconventional tactics to find and exploit a stronger adversary's weak spots. Think of it like David versus Goliath. And in this story, drone swarms, well, they're the ultimate high-tech slingshot.
Moving on to Section 2, the mind of the swarm. So what exactly makes a swarm more than just a bunch of drones flying in formation? What's the secret sauce?
Well, it really comes down to 5 key ingredients. First, you give each drone an autonomous brain using AI. Then, you enable constant chatter through really resilient networks so they can all share information. Shared eyes from all their different sensors creates one big picture of the battlefield. From that, a hive mind emerges using cooperative algorithms. And finally, the game changer, affordability, all thanks to miniaturization, which makes it possible to build not just one, but thousands of them.
Yeah, and as this quote points out, the whole concept is basically borrowed from nature. This isn't one pilot controlling everything. Nope. It's a decentralized intelligence, just like a wolf pack on the hunt or an ant colony foraging for food. Each member is autonomous, but they cooperate to achieve a goal that's way beyond what any single one of them could do alone. That, right there, is the core logic of the swarm.
All right, Section 3, the underdog's advantage. Now let's really dig into why this is such a massive game changer for so many actors on the world stage.
The swarm's #1 weapon is what's called the saturation effect. See, a modern warship has incredible defenses, but they're built to handle, say, a handful of sophisticated threats at a time, not 1,000 cheap ones coming from every direction all at once. The swarm doesn't try to outsmart the defense. It simply and brutally overwhelms it.
And this really shows you the tactical payoff. You can completely saturate air defenses, basically cracking the shield. You can get persistent surveillance over a huge area, like a constant unblinking eye in the sky. You can coordinate these multi-pronged strikes on a single target. And of course, you can exploit that massive cost advantage, which we're going to see in just a second.
And here it is, the brutal, undeniable economic math. For the cost of one F-35 fighter jet, an adversary could potentially field a swarm of over 1,600 small drones. I mean, just look at that comparison. That says it all. This is the strategic dilemma in its starkest, most worrying form. Okay, Section 4, countering the cloud. So if you're the one facing down this cloud of intelligent machines, what on earth can you do about it? That's really the multi-million-dollar or maybe multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? If your traditional defenses just aren't built for this, if they don't work against 1,000 cheap drones, you need a totally new playbook. So how do you fight a swarm? Well, here are some of the leading ideas right now. You could use directed energy, lasers and microwaves, but they need a clear line of sight, which isn't always easy. There's electronic warfare, which can jam their signals, but a smart swarm might just adapt and switch frequencies. Or you can fall back on kinetic options, missiles, guns, things like that. But that brings us right back to that huge economic problem. And right here, this is the heart of the defender's dilemma. Even if your super expensive missile works perfectly, you're spending millions to destroy a drone that costs a few thousand. You can win every single one of those engagements and still go bankrupt, losing the economic war. It's a losing proposition. So that brings us to our final section, the human in the loop. Because the challenge here goes way beyond just tactics and economics. It raises some really profound questions about our role in all of this. And that leads us to this critical and frankly very thorny question. If an autonomous swarm makes a mistake, targets the wrong thing, causes unintended damage, who is responsible? Is it the programmer who wrote the code, the commander who decided to deploy it, or
The AI itself. There are absolutely no easy answers here. This quote really gets to the core fear, doesn't it? The erosion of human judgment. As we hand over more and more autonomy to machines in combat, we seriously risk removing our own conscience, our own morality, from the most critical life-or-death decisions.
And these are the core dilemmas we're facing. You've got the huge problem of accountability. The fact that these systems could lower the barrier to starting a conflict, they could escalate a crisis in milliseconds, way faster than any human could possibly react. And a lot of people worry about the slippery slope towards a fully automated war where lethal force becomes completely and terrifyingly dehumanized. And so, we're going to end with this final thought. Drone swarm technology is powerful, it's disruptive, and it's already here. But as these machines get smarter and smarter, it forces all of us to confront this fundamental question. In the future of warfare, who, or maybe what, should have the final say?